So it's been a couple days since I made my prediction video of the Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey fight, and then I watched the fight on Saturday, and I'm going to break down my thoughts and see, we're going to talk about it. So essentially, I went to a show on Saturday to support my homies, underground artists, and I came back home to watch the fight before going back out to support my homies until 1 a.m. But I got in right at the Nate Diaz fight. And seeing Nate Diaz bleeding all over the place with his skull just cracked open like one of those boiled eggs, that was fucked up, bro. But good fight. Nate Diaz put up a great fight. He was slandering his words after the fact, so it's good that Mike Perry, won. They called the match there, but he was bleeding. It was bad. It was pretty clear that those were elbow strikes to the head. With James Edward almost with the glove on his hand, pulling on the gash in his skull, dude, it was gnarly. It was bad. Seeing his head being pulled open like a boiled egg. But essentially, up next was the main event, Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey. Now, I made my prediction video, and I said in my prediction video that, there's a lot of factors at play when it comes to MMA. Do not be surprised if this, bout is not everything that it sounds like it could be. Because when it comes to Jake Paul and these big Netflix fights, they turn out to be disappointments because a lot of the time, it's money. We're taking big money names and we're putting them in the ring to fight. They're not trained fighters. They're not experienced people, or maybe they're old retired fighters that don't have it anymore. In the case of Gina versus Ronda, I said in my previous video, Gina has not been in the cage in well over a decade. The edge goes to Ronda because Ronda has better conditioning. Ronda may have not been fighting in 10 years, but she's still been an athlete in WWE. That means her conditioning has been far better than Gina's has over the course of several years. And it's pretty clear that when the match started, Ronda had a game plan. Gina, however, it had been 17 years since Gina had been in the MMA world, in an MMA cage. And her biggest goal was losing 100 pounds to make the weight for the fight. On top of that, I think she was more focused on the PR, on the public sort of recapturing her in a way. How do I explain it? She was enjoying her comeback. She was so focused on her comeback that she probably didn't have a chance to prepare adequately for a fight like this. And for me, the bigger win here is the fact that Gina Carano has an outing in a public eye, like on Netflix, like something like that against Ronda Rousey, in a big fight feel where the public will view her legitimately after she was canceled wrongly years ago and fired from Lucasfilm and fired from Actors Guilds. So the bigger win here, and I'm proud of Gina Carano. I'm a fan of Gina Carano. I'm proud of her, and I'm happy for the fact that she made it that far and she got that far. But that did not guarantee that the fight was going to be good because Ronda has an animal instinct. She has that killer instinct, and I wasn't sure if Gina still had that. And Gina had been so focused on acting this whole time that she has lost that killer instinct. And so I didn't think the match was going to last long, but I was actually genuinely shocked when I saw that it only lasted 17 seconds. I find it ironic that it only took 17 seconds for 17 years that she had been away from the cage, but Ronda comes in, shoots the leg, puts her in the armbar, and that was it. Gina didn't even try to roll out of it. It was an amateur move, in my opinion. And being somebody who trains in MMA or, trained often, a while back, I still need to get back in the gym. Look at me. I'm getting dad bod here. But I would have rolled out. Having your arm extended like that is not fun, but you could have turned one way and rolled her over. You could have rolled Ronda over and pulled your arm out. There's so many ways you could have gotten out, and Gina was just not prepared for that. She was not prepared to go to the ground, and even after the match, she said that, she wanted to box Gina. She wanted to spar her. She wanted to punch her in the face. She wanted to extend this thing out and make everybody get their money's worth of this fight. So Gina was thinking ahead of time as, I want to go in there, I want to spar, I want to keep this going so that people can make their money's worth, out of this. Ronda was not concerned with that at all. Ronda was concerned with getting her to the ground and making her tap out with that seriously bad armbar. And that's what happened. 17 seconds, it was done. But that's the MMA world. People are angry. People are lashing out. They're like, why is it only 17 seconds? It's a ripoff. It's like, you don't get MMA. Because unlike boxing rounds, where the boxers have to be fighting for each round and consistently staying on their feet the whole time, in MMA, it could be done like that. It could be game over. Most of the fights on the card ended in first round. They ended with first round, victories and falls. So it's not a surprise to me that it ended in the first round. I was more surprised that it ended so quickly in 17 seconds. Gina barely put up a fight, and I thought that was a little disappointing. But nonetheless, for me, Gina having this comeback was more important. And I think it was more important for her. I think it was just a moment for her to be shutting the door on this part of her life and moving on and going on to something brand new. And just the fact that we could say that we saw Gina versus Ronda, we saw what happened. Now, it's not the fight that it would have been 10 years ago. It's not even the fight it would have been 20 years ago. But we got to see it. And I'm not saying you should be grateful to see it, but I'm just saying that it was, we got to see it happen. Ronda said that she was going to retire from fighting and go have babies. Based. I guess I'm a Ronda fan now. Based. And Gina, we don't know what's next for Gina. We don't know if she's going to go fight again. We don't know if she's going to have acting gigs or whatever. But whatever Gina does, I'm going to be a fan. I'm going to stick around with her because what happened to her was criminal. And it won me over. It was one of the things that I think just radicalized me. And it won me over. And it's a story of endearing, perseverance and human spirit from a woman that did not deserve to get what she got handed to her. And so while I was disappointed with the fight, I also wasn't surprised in the very least, because that's just MMA. If you get somebody to the ground and they don't have a ground game planned, they're going to tap out. You punch somebody in the face just enough times, they're not going to make it to the third round because they're going to lose blood like Nate Diaz did. So I understand MMA like that because people will call off. It's too dangerous to have that. If you're like dizzy and bleeding out and shit, or your arm about to break, they're going to call the match before, we actually get a decent finish. So I'm not surprised at that. There's a lot of people that love boxing and stuff that are disappointed, and I get it. But this is MMA, completely different game. But yeah, I will still be proud of Gina. I'm a fan of Gina, and I will stay a fan of Gina. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in another video. Wait, before I go, I have said that I was one of those people who noticed that Gina's fight was happening alongside the release of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, only a week apart from each other. So the Mandalorian and Grogu debuts with rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes. Reviews claim it's content, not cinema. Oof! Oof! And let's take a look at From Wrestling News. The Ronda Rousey-Gina Carano fight peaked at nearly 17 million global viewers on Saturday nights. A big win for MVP, a big win for Gina, a big win for Netflix because of that fight. And the box office projections for Mandalorian and Grogu are not looking good. And neither are the reported Rotten Tomatoes scores. And I find it funny that they're only a week apart from each other. And Gina came, her fight was a week before the Mandalorian and Grogu was going to be released in theaters. And I just find it just all the more sweeter that the Mandalorian and Grogu is probably set to be a bigger flop than Solo, just a week out from Gina Carano's successful fight with Ronda Rousey. But let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in another video very soon.